Hello everybody and all my dear viewers, this is Deepak Jain here in English Mania, and today I'm going to cover a topic, and this topic is one of the problems running in India, and it is unemployment. Yes, my dear friends, I'm going to give a talk on it. First of all, I must let you know what is the definition of unemployment. Unemployment is when people look for a job and when they don't get any job anywhere, it is called unemployment. But why does it happen? Why do people remain unemployed? Before I tell you this, I must let you know the types of unemployment. There are certain types of unemployment, and one of them is disguised unemployment. Here, you must be wondering, what is this disguised unemployment? So I am going to let you know. Disguised unemployment is, when people pursue any degree, diploma, let's say they pursue MBA, and after the, completion of their MBA, when they don't get any job anywhere, then under the compulsion, because they don't want to sit twiddling their thumbs, so they have to work under their father's occupation. Suppose a father is running a grocery shop, and because the person didn't get the job even after completing MBA, and when they actually work in their father's occupation and at the father's shop, then it is called as disguised unemployment. You know why? Because many people think this boy is employed because he is working at the shop, he is running his father's shop, but that's not the reality. He actually didn't want to do it. He did his MBA. Did he do MBA to run his father's shop? No, not at all. It is just because even after the completion of MBA, he didn't get job. So under the compulsion, he has to work at the father's shop. So it is called as disguised unemployment. Person looks like employed, but he is not. He is not at all. And I want to set one more example. Suppose there is a farmer and he works in his field and he grew crops, right? And his son is there and he also did MBA, let's suppose. And even after the completion of MBA, he didn't actually get any success to get the job. After that, he is working in that field. So it is also called as disguised unemployment because it does not increase the productivity, right? Let's say 10 people are there, now 15 are working there. So they are able to reduce the efforts, but they are not able to produce the productivity. They are not able to increase or augment the productivity there, right? So it is called as disguised unemployment. Now I am going to let you know about structural unemployment. Yes, that is the second type of unemployment. What is this structural unemployment? There are many things. Let's say MBA, or a person did any course from anywhere, or any computer course, or MBA, MCA, and after the completion of the course, that person actually sees that there is no vacancy in the market, and whatever the skills he got in that job, it actually doesn't match with the requirement of that job, and the person remains unemployed because of the lack of skills, because his skills do not match the prerequisites of the job. In that case, the person remains unemployed. So it is called as structural unemployment because of the lack of the skills. So either the person has the lack of the skills, or there is no vacancy according to his skills in the market. So we call it structural unemployment. I am repeatedly telling you so that you can remember it. Okay, now I must talk about seasonal unemployment. And as it is clear by its name, what is seasonal unemployment? It is absolutely related to season. What happens in farming or in the market? Suppose a person is there, he deals in the woolen clothes and he manufactures the woolen clothes, right? So during the winter, his job would be a going concern because he would be getting lot of work during the winter, right? But on the advent of summer, he would be sitting twiddling his thumbs because his work is seasonal. Certain people are there, they are able to manage. During the winter, they do the job according to winter. During the summers, they do the job, they do the task according to the summer, right? So some people are able to adapt and everybody is not able to adapt. So when people remained unemployed because of the season, because their work is seasonal, then they can do nothing in that case. Okay, see, even take my example. I'm running this institute, and during the summers, that people or the number of student is more, and during the winter it is less, right? And sometimes there are months, let's say 1 or 2 months in a year, when actually we don't get anything, but we at that time cannot change the work, right? So it is called as seasonal unemployment. Yes, seasonal unemployment is there. And let's say farmer is there, he grows the crops, and now there is no season, there is no any season to grow the crops. Then during that time he will be unemployed in that duration. Okay, so it is called as seasonal unemployment, right? Now I must talk about frictional unemployment. Yes, you must be wondering what is this frictional unemployment. So I must throw light on it. Frictional unemployment is when people are already doing a job, but they want to hop from job to job. Then in the mid there is a gap. So that gap is called as frictional unemployment. Yes, when person is trying to shift from one job to other, and in that duration when he remains unemployed, when it takes time to get the job, although the person is actually trying to switch from job to job just because of the betterment, okay, so sometimes it can be good for the person, but during that gap it is called as frictional unemployment. I hope I made it clear to all of you. Okay, now I must talk about cyclical unemployment. Now you must be wondering what is this cyclical unemployment, right? So I am going to explain this to you. Cyclical unemployment is when, let's say, a company is there and this company is running nicely, but sometimes, there is a kind of a recession, and because of the recession there is no work in the company. So at that time that company will definitely throw some people out. Redundance मतलब फालतू, right? So they will throw the redundance out of the company because every job is not perennial, right? That is running like complete 12 months. So that is called as perennial. So all the jobs are not perennial, right? So if they are perennial, then it will be good for people, fine. But cyclical unemployment means when there is a recession or there is a gap or there are ups and downs in the company, then because of that company will throw certain people out. That is called as cyclical unemployment. And apart from that, there is voluntary unemployment. That's very much dangerous. Voluntary, it means when people have the job opportunities but they themselves don't want to do a job. That is called as voluntary unemployment, because many people think I am Nawab like that and I will do the job. No, not at all. So it is called as voluntary because voluntarily he does not want to take up any job, right? So this is called as voluntary unemployment. That's very much dangerous, and it also happens when people suppose people did their MBA. So after completing their MBA, when they don't get the job of high package, then they mind doing the small jobs, right? Just because they feel embarrassed. So this is called as voluntary unemployment because he or she himself or herself doesn't want to do that, right? I hope I made it clear to all of you. Now I'm going to let you know about the cause behind unemployment. You must know what is the cause behind unemployment. So first of all, when I see the reasons behind unemployment, then First thing that strikes my mind is the education system. Yes, as I already mentioned, sometimes the skills of people don't match the prerequisites of the job. Then education system is thoroughly responsible for that. Somebody will definitely have to take onus of that. In the education system, either it can be the education minister, or it can be the principal of the college, because whatever they learn during their school and the college or higher colleges, then whatever they learn is theoretical. It is not practical, and people will also have to see what practical or what fruitful are they going to learn in the schools and the college that will meet or that will match the requirement of the job. If it meets the requirement of the job, then it will be fruitful, it will be beneficial for the person. But in the education system, so many things are there, they are useless, but people have to just apply their brain to complete it, or to learn it, or to go through it. So education system is equally responsible for that. If education system hadn't been responsible for it, then people would have got the jobs just after the completion of their 12th or graduation. But it doesn't happen. Everybody knows that. Even after completing their 12th graduation, then why do people have to go through MBA, MCA, BCA? They have to go through extra learning of it, right? And if education system had been in such a way that even after completing their 10th, 12th or graduation, if people had got the jobs, then I wouldn't have blamed or criticized the education system, right? You can take the example of the English language. When I was in the school and college, actually nobody focused on teaching this language. It was just I who made command over it, and they were my extra efforts, not from the side of the school and the college. And in my life, when I got the job, it was because of the English language, not because of the degree or that diploma like that, like high school, inter or graduation. It was because of the extra skills and communication skills that I could get a job. Okay, so that I actually blame the education system for this. Many times there is theoretical knowledge, not the practical knowledge. So it becomes the cause behind unemployment. Then people feel worse because they consider themselves as educated, whereas they remain unemployed. So if they, let's say, happen to do any small task, then they feel abashed, they feel embarrassed, right? So that is the cause behind this education system or unemployment. Now I must talk about will issue. Yes, that's very important. Why will issue? Because there are many people, they don't want to actually take up any job. Why? Because as I told you, when they did MBA or anything, then suppose they are getting any small job of low salary, then they mind doing it. So their will is there. Several people are there, they just don't want to do anything. Neither they want to learn, nor they want to do job, right? So there are many people, they never want to take risk. Example, English is there, right? If people learn English, there are many job opportunities after learning English. But many people are there who don't make up their mind to learn it. Okay, and then they actually curse the government that there is no job opportunity in the market. But I know that if somebody has very good command over the English language, then there are many job opportunities. Several jobs are available in the market, and employers don't get the manpower. And when I was working in TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, then once I had a word with the manager there, and I asked the manager that why don't these MNCs come in the local areas such as Mathura? Then that person, the manager, told me if these companies come in the locality, then they don't get the manpower. Okay, it means he was clearly saying, he was explicitly saying that people are not skilled. That is why the companies don't come to your area, right? So the will issue is the reason behind it. When a person doesn't want to do anything, then nobody can do anything. Neither the people, nor the God, nor the government, right? Nobody can do anything in that case. and sometimes there are political reasons. Okay, as I told you, there are types of unemployment. Many people actually prepare for the government sector, and suppose if government does not release the jobs, then what will people do? If government doesn't release the jobs, okay, so suppose if people are unskilled, है ना, let's say if people have completed their UPTET, CTET, and if government does not release the jobs, then actually people are compelled to take up any small job, and because they were preparing for the government jobs and under the compulsion they have to take up any private job, then it would be called as disguised unemployment, as I already told you, right? But many people are there, if they are preparing for the government sector, if they don't get the job because government is not releasing the jobs because of any reason, right? So by the time they don't get the job, they remain unemployed and they don't want to take up any small job, right? So it also becomes the reason. So sometimes that government becomes responsible for that, and I'm not blaming the government. Sometimes government can be right as well, sometimes government can be wrong as well. Okay, so sometimes that political reasons are also there, and the one more reason is there. Many people have madness for the government sector, and they become so crazy to get the government job that they don't prepare themselves for the private sector. So by the time they don't get the government job, then they remain unemployed, right? Then they curse the government. So that becomes the problem. The plan A, plan B or plan C should be there. Like this, let's say I'm preparing for the government job, but I should also think, what if I don't get the government job, then what would I do? I should also be ready for that. I should also have the backup plan. I hope I made it clear to all of you. Now I must talk about one more reason is there, the lack of skills. As I already mentioned, if people have the lack of skills, it means when they did their MBA, MCA or any course, when they did, or it can be the computer course, but they didn't do it sincerely, they didn't do it wholeheartedly, then obviously they didn't get skills. Sometimes the students are responsible for that. Sometimes even that coaching center can be responsible for that, because they didn't educate the students in the right direction. They took the fee, but they didn't actually educate them nicely, precisely, or they didn't actually enable them eligible for the job. In that case, sometimes the students are responsible, and sometimes even the coaching centers can be responsible in that case. But it is a kind of a case in which I can't say or I can't claim anything assertively. Okay, but it is one of the reasons you must know. And one more major reason is there, that is about population. Yes, the growing population, which is growing rapidly, becomes the cause behind unemployment. Obviously, because if there are many people to do the jobs, then either they don't get the job because there are many people to do it. Many people have already occupied those jobs, so rest of the people remain unemployed, right? So sometimes that population is also the reason behind it. But let me tell you, in the population, if there is quality, then they will not remain unemployed. But if there is only quantity, then they remain unemployed, because most of the people just want to be servant. They don't want to be owner. They don't want to create a business. That is also the cause. And when they go to school and colleges, this subject business is taught to them. But unfortunately, the person who teaches them business himself is the servant. That is the irony, right? So a person who is teaching business himself or herself is the servant. So how can he inculcate the skills of running business in that person? That is the case, right? So many people actually prepare to be servant, not the owner. But if people start becoming owner, if they create jobs or the jobs opportunity, then there will be no dearth of the jobs. If you become the job creator, not the job seeker, right? And sometimes there is recession in the market, so it also causes it also causes unemployment. Before a few years, pandemic occurred, and during the pandemic, obviously people could do nothing because that was the time of pandemic, so it was natural to be unemployed. So sometimes recession is the reason behind it. Okay, now I must talk about some advantages and disadvantages of it. Okay, and you must be wondering, how can there be advantages of unemployment? Yes, there are advantages, but they are not actually ethical advantages. But कहते हैं ना, कभी कभी sometimes somebody else's loss is the benefit of somebody else. कभी कभी किसी का घाटा किसी का फायदा हो जाता है. ये मैं नहीं कह रहा, it is natural, right? So sometimes somebody else's loss is the benefit of somebody else. It happens in the market. So let's say people are unemployed, they are job seekers. Then what happens if there are owners? Then those owners get the low paid employees, right? Because they are unemployed. Let's say if people prepare for the government sector, if they happen to get the government jobs, then why would they work under somebody? Then person will not get low paid labor. So it actually benefits the owners, entrepreneurs. It benefits the entrepreneurs, right? Or the people who are running the business. So it benefits them. And second thing is that if all the people will be employed, if all the people will get nice jobs, then who will do the jobs of like low class, right? So many people you find outside, let's say a rickshaw puller is there, fine, or many people are running e-rickshaw just because under the compulsion, although no job is high or low, right? But it is actually called like this in the society. Fine, I don't consider any job as low, but under the compulsion people have to do so. So the benefit is that if let's say many rickshaw pullers are there, many auto drivers are there, then there is a high competition, and because of that competition you are able to go from one place to other in the low cost. If the number of such people is less, then the rate will be high and you will have to pay high cost for that. So it is the hidden benefit of unemployment, right? And if I talk about the disadvantages of unemployment, I must let you know. See, if unemployment is there, then there will be spats in the family, and there is a possibility then the person will be addicted, right? There is a possibility that person will start boozing. He would be like inebriated. Yes, he will get into inebriation if he is unemployed. And there will be spats between husband and wife like that. And there is a possibility, this unemployment would also lead to crime. Yes, many people would become criminals if they don't get any job. Then they will actually try to rob. They will try to get the money just in one time. They will try to adopt the shortcut ways to be rich in their life. So the unemployment leads to crime. Yes, and unemployment also leads to child labor. Yes, many people, let's say if they don't get jobs, the parents, when they don't get jobs, then their kids are compelled to do the child labor. Just because the parents don't have any source of income, then obviously it will lead to child labor. Are you getting? And unemployment also leads to poverty, and poverty leads to unemployment. They are complement to each other. Yes, sometimes because of the lack of money, that person is not able to do anything, person is not able to learn anything, person is not able to get any skill. And just because of the skills people get the jobs, but a person would get the skills if he or she has money. Then he can join any institute, any coaching to get skilled, right? But if the person has no money, then neither he can get skilled nor he can educate his kids, right? So then the kids will remain unemployed because of the lack of money, right? And this unemployment leads to poverty, and poverty leads to unemployment. ये दोनों एक दूसरे के क्या हैं? पूरक हैं. They are complement to each other, right? So there are several disadvantages of unemployment, and as a conclusion, what I personally believe is that, or what I want to conclude is that, people in India should be rational and should be hardworking and should never be sitting at home twiddling their thumbs, right? Whatever the job you come across or you happen to get or you happen to take up, you should take it up. I also did it in my life, so I am sharing the personal experience of my life. When I was actually during my adversities, then I took up the jobs, whatever the jobs I came across, I took it up. Okay, and that's how I got experience. And you also get to know the value of time, and you also get to know the value of money, and moreover you get experience, and you never know when can that experience serve you in your life. You never know that, right? So guys, you should never be sitting at your home twiddling your thumbs. Whatever the job you get, you should do it. Never sit idle at your home. Okay, so the experience matters. कहते हैं ना, success comes from experience and experience comes from failure, right? So never be afraid of failure. So whatever the job you get, you should do it, right? So that's all I wanted to talk about unemployment, and I hope I made it very clear to all of you. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much and have a wonderful life ahead. Take care and bye now.